pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Suzanne, if you would do roll call, please.
All right. Sandra Wood. Here. Norm Warner.
Here.
Robin Cooper. Here. Beth Wood.
Here.
Corbin Abel.
Okay, so we do have a quorum tonight.
Yeah.
Item 4 on our agenda tonight is approval of minutes from the February the 17th, 2022 meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Sandra. Second.
I'll second that.
Second by Ms. Wood. All in favor?
Aye. I'm abstaining, it wasn't here.
301. Or, yeah. Item number 5, new business. And before we go into the new business, I must read from the BZA, the Indiana code that covers this. So, BZA meeting, there are 2 requests for variances for the development standards of the zoning ordinance. Pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-4-918.5, a Board of Zoning Appeals shall approve or deny variances for the development standards such as height, bulk of area of the zoning ordinance. The board may impose reasonable conditions as part of the board's approval. Indiana Code 36-7-4-918-5. A variance may be under Indiana Code 36-7-4-918.5A only upon determination in writing of the following. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, and the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. Pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-4-920, the hearing procedure, the board shall fix a reasonable time for the hearing of the variance and public notice in accordance with Indiana Code 5-3-1-2 and Indiana Code 5-3-1-4 that due notice to all interested parties shall be given at least 10 days before the date of the hearing. I'm assuming that happened?
Yes.
Okay. Publication must be made at least 10 days prior to the hearing. Interested parties are notified by certified mail. Is everyone notified, the adjacent property owners?
Yes.
At least 10 days prior to the hearing, the planning director, that would be Suzanne, shall post and maintain a sign on the subject property. Did that happen?
Yes, replace them.
And a person may not communicate with any member of the board before the hearing with the intent to influence the members' actions on the matter pending before the board. Was anyone spoken to by anyone party to this meeting? Okay. The question now is setbacks, which is 12.32C. All lots shall have building setbacks lines which shall be established to complement the development pattern of the subdivision, by which may not be less than the following. Setback from the right-of-way, 75 feet. Setback from the side lots, 25 feet. Setback from the rear lot, 25 feet. Okay. Under new business, item A, design and variance setback, Richard Lee Zufall. Could you approach, please? Just state your name and then come on up here. Yeah. Well, the speakers don't pick up well back there, so.
There was a house there originally, wanting to build about a 1,500 square foot house. I can't get it back as far enough from the road that you guys would like because of the septic system. It will set back further, but I don't think I'm gonna get to 75 feet. And I don't wanna go close to the other, house either. I wanna stay kinda close to where it was at. Just because if I move it down the lay of the land, I'd probably have to get a pump station to pump it up to the septic, and I don't wanna use a grinder system.
Where on this drawing is a current septic? Can you tell me that?
Okay, well, then,
Yeah, got it.
it's not hard to see.
I mean, just give me a general
Yeah,
idea.
it sits right here, the tank sits here,
Okay,
and the fields go here.
gotcha.
So, when the old house sat on the corner, I'm wanting to build a house more right in here,
Okay.
but not. So we'll be back, and this is all woods, and
And you said about 40 feet you're expecting?
I'm thinking it's hard to, until I get a set thing, I mean, it's probably gonna be, are you taking it from here?
It's gotta go from the center of the road.
Center of the road.
Yeah. The old house was like 33.
Right,
So I think I could make it back at least 40 easily for the front porch.
Okay.
So then you're gonna have,
well, and just for the record, so I'm assuming the old house has been gone longer than 6 months, right?
that's what she had said,
So
yes.
we have no grandfather clause?
No, there's
That's what
not.
I'm going
That's
with.
why I'm going with that.
Okay,
But due to the complication of the
right,
septic is the reason. You know, it's a decent lot, but this all goes down kind of hill. This is pretty much, if I build here, eventually I'd like to build a garage, but
which
I know.
we're,
Which would be to the other side?
yeah, I mean, if I build here, then I'd have to pump it up to the septic, and that's what I would not wanna do. I don't like those systems, I've seen them before.
okay.
And that's it, I mean, that's it, it's gonna be a nice new house, I just.
Ready?
So the septic system that's there, that was the old house septic system?
Correct, and I had it checked out by
Gotcha.
John.
I didn't know if that was still.
Yeah, it was all functional, and
Okay.
there's water, there's everything there.
Okay.
One other thing, the old house, how many bedrooms?
I have no idea what the old house was.
It was,
I don't
if I
know.
remember right, it was a
Was
double wide,
Probably a modular.
and I believe it was 3 bedrooms and
How many
2
bedrooms is
I built with 3.
the 3?
bedrooms.
And has the health department been out and inspected it?
John's said it's
And,
fine.
and he knows it's a 3?
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right, because that's how you determine,
yeah, he has to get pre-approval,
yeah. I
or he
got it.
could have gotten a building permit
Yeah.
anyways, so.
okay, anything else from the,
I think if they ask you.
board?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Did you have anything else, Richard?
No, that was it. It's pretty.
All right, so, I like to go positive first, so is there anyone that's willing to speak in favor of this proposal? And I don't care that you speak, but would you come up and state your name and then come up here? Richard, you can stay there, or you can go back, either one you would like to do.
So I'm Stacy Kristoff, and my husband and I are not opposed to the new build of this home.
And you're directly across from him, right?
We're catty cornered.
Yeah, okay.
And then you said positive first, so we'll get another option to talk about other things too, or should I go ahead and state everything that I'd like to say right now, or?
You go right ahead and say whatever you
You
want.
have the floor.
You have the floor.
All right.
Yes.
Can I speak for all of us? Is that fine, Sandy?
road, yes.
Okay, so so we have concerns about our neighborhood, that are not this poor man's fault at all. We just wanna make sure that he is aware of what's going on in West Acres. And it's an ongoing problem. George and I have lived there for 21 years. Sandy, how long have you lived there?
22.
Okay, so when we moved in, I was a young mom and didn't care about all of this stuff very much, but the road maintenance kind of fell into our laps probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And it was I just came on just in time to realize that the covenants that were set up when our neighborhood was developed expired at the end of 2014. So in that covenant, there was a road maintenance clause where each neighbor was expected to pay $10 per month for road maintenance. I can tell you today that we have tried in vain repeatedly to gather our neighbors together to maintain our roads, and it has completely dissolved. There's absolutely no bank account now, no money being accepted. We have washed our hands of it. George and I decided that in order to not be angry about it, we just decided we would maintain the road to the best of our ability when we need to. to get from our house to the highway, which is probably a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, it's a little bit back in there.
And so some of our other concerns about the build specifically would be that it wouldn't cause added stress to the road by draining onto it in a way that it's not already, or onto adjacent properties. So there are other neighbors that would have liked to have been here tonight, but they couldn't because of surgery, recovery, or soccer practice and things like that. So we have a small group of people who are banded together. We call each other when there's snow removal that's needed, or if we're gonna lay gravel, we try to get those people who will. But we have many people in there who have said they absolutely will never pay a dime on that road. And so I just wanted to point out that this has caused issue for several people who were trying to refinance or to sell their home. One of our neighbors had a sale fall through because the roads aren't being maintained. We feel like we inherited a problem that we didn't create when this neighborhood was zoned, and we have tried in vain to get somebody to help us over the years. And every time I call anybody, I'm told that I need to call the county attorney's office, and I usually get a packet that's about this big with all the things that we need to do to bring our roads up to standard so that the county will take over our roads. And that packet is impossible. It will never happen because of the way that the neighborhood was developed. So I just felt like this was my opportunity to speak before the zoning board about what we've been dealing with for a lot of years, so.
So I'm assuming it's a,
Well,
The road sucks, but you
No,
gotta have
that
it.
was one thing that I didn't like about it, and I totally understand that, I totally get it, and that was the reason I was really leery about building a house. I've got a friend that lives back in the back, and he says the same thing. I would love for something to be done. I don't know what you could do. I would be way willing to chip in something to do. And actually, I before you even said that, I was going to put gravel down. I got a friend that does dump truck for a little while,
Sure.
And
just a little bit.
it sounds like to
It is
me,
rough.
while you're building, make sure that we control the flow. I'm assuming you're uphill from the road a little bit. Just keep your mud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's-
most people mitigate
it's
for it,
fairly
but
flat. I mean,
just so we're all on the same page here. So I'm assuming this is a private drive, right?
It's a public drive?
Private.
Private, yes, it's
And do we know how wide it actually is?
not very.
a car and a half.
It's, you can't
Not
get
two
2 cars to
lanes.
pass down.
It used to be,
Yeah,
2 lanes.
well, I live in one of those too, and I get it. It's, you know, you either find a driveway or a nice place where there's no stops from no cut off trees to pull over so people can get by you. I get that.
You guys, you had paid for it, and
Yeah, I
got
mean,
something together.
there's always been people who have refused to pay, no matter who was organizing it or no matter who was in charge of it. But there was a time when it was at least enough people were, I hate to really go into everything we've dealt with over this,
Oh,
because I'd be here for a long time, but one of the roads in our neighborhood has completely taken themselves out of, like, do not contact us, we will maintain our part. And they just mean their part of the road, they don't mean from when it gets to the top of the hill to the highway. So that's ours evidently, but it's been a huge headache.
And you said your covenant ran out?
It expired at the end of 2014, and there was absolutely nothing at that point that we could do. And when we inquired about, well, what if those of us who are willing set up a homeowners association, we found out at that point that you have to have 100% agreement from all the landowners in there, and we're never, ever going to get that.
That's
No,
a
I didn't know
task that
that.
no one can get past.
I didn't know that at all.
I wish I knew what to tell you. If I
I
find,
do like the area, and I do like the addition, but the road is horrible, I do admit, but my theory is, I thought I was gonna build a fairly decent, nice house. But I mean, it is what it is, you know, some people don't mind doing it, and they live in the country, and they get it.
Well, and here's the thing, I mean,
And it is aggravating, cause
Sure.
people don't wanna throw, I get it,
for the people who want to have a decent road, but the ones that don't,
yeah.
you know,
it does put a lot of extra burden on the ones who wanna have a decent road, but at some point in time, they're gonna get to the point, they're gonna tear up their vehicles too, and they're gonna have to do something, so.
The petition to, that you said you had a packet from the county to get it to a standard where the county would take it over. Is that 100% participation from everyone in there as well, or do you remember?
I would assume so, but like it has things in there like the utility lines have to be so many feet off the road, and I think some of our utility lines run down the easement in the middle of the road. And then I think the other thing is that it has to have a cul-de-sac at every ending.
Yes.
There's just no way it's ever gonna happen.
It would be interesting to see if when it was laid out, if there was a
1990.
cul-de-sac laid out in there, because if so, then it's an easement and could be put back in.
There wasn't, it was two different developments. So one was developed and then the other half was developed later. So like where his is like the end of it, one development, and then the rest of it became a development later,
I see.
so.
That's why I was wondering if all of the houses that are back in there were in there during the time that there was actually a,
Yeah, and then
and
then they created the rest of it.
Well, and this doesn't have any bearing on your petition, so can I deal with this petition and then I'll address you on what I would like to try to do anyway? I don't know if it'll be effective or not, but, all right, so,
Sandra
yeah,
Embley,
come on.
that house you see right there is mine. The only problem, I wanna
That one?
welcome you to the neighborhood, I don't have a problem with the new neighbors. But, the former owners of that property in that wooded area took a bobcat in there and supposedly was gonna make a basketball court for his kids. Okay, when he did that, he made all that ground go downhill to me. And I get a lot of water from that property. I just wanna make sure that it doesn't get any worse, cause I've not been able to solve the problem. Cause his property is up
above you.
higher than mine.
So you're here, you said,
Yes, that's mine
and
with the
it
blue.
flows this way, I'm assuming?
And the water comes down that way, yes. I get a lot of water from the road anyway, that comes down my driveway, and my driveway had gotten so bad. I got ditches this big in the driveway where the water flowed off the road. I actually had my driveway asphalted. And the rest of the neighborhood has asphalt envy.
Well, I mean, and that was my point, I don't wanna build closer to her at all.
Right.
I didn't want
Right.
to crowd that. and that-
Do you have the ability to change that contour at all? Do you have that kind of
I don't know
equipment,
what
I'm
he-
guessing?
I don't know what he did, I don't know what he took, I mean, it's woods right now, I don't know.
It's in the middle of the woods where he
Yeah, I
dug
don't
that
know.
all out.
Yeah.
It seems like you'd almost have to do some tiling or something to catch that water before it gets down there,
Yeah,
going
I
towards the
mean-
river, but
And also, my concern was the water, is I was gonna build it higher, and probably go 4 or 5 blocks. Make a nice crawl space, cause I know the water's gonna come in on the corner, it's just, just how many it is. So, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's all I have, I don't know,
I mean,
I don't know what they did before, I just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
and I
don't
get
want,
it,
I haven't been able to solve the problem myself. I tried to get a couple guys out there to do some things, and they put a spill thing that they said the water would run down, and it didn't work. And I've had ditches in my yard this deep where the water has
Gullies,
run
yeah.
down. So.
Okay.
But it's actually on your property where they did the digging, it
Yeah, it's
doesn't go over
no, it
up.
has nothing to do with his property. They tried to fix it on my property and we haven't been able to solve the problem. I just don't want any more water than I already have.
Gotcha.
I have a question. So you said that the water was coming and it would wash out your driveway? So that doesn't necessarily mean it was coming from his place?
No, that wasn't coming from
Okay,
him.
okay,
That was coming from the road
Okay.
itself.
okay.
Was washing out the driveway. But the other, I had water coming this way,
both sides of the house.
both sides. So I wanna welcome you to the neighborhood, but
do you get water in your house at all?
no, I don't get any water in the house. That's fine. It
You
just,
drive there.
It's just the driveway and out in front of the house where it runs down the hill and makes craters in my yard.
Okay.
And I don't want that to get any worse than what it is.
Yeah,
That's my only concern.
I wasn't doing anything other than build the house kind of where it was at, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was.
Well, and
But building a house, you're naturally gonna have less impermeable soil, so you're gonna be runoff from the roof, everything else, as long as you have a good perimeter drain,
Right.
it should
Yeah.
divert that water somewhere else. So I mean, I think that's the main thing, is when you have that house, as long as you have a perimeter drain around there, it should be,
Yeah.
should make it work, shouldn't make it worse.
And like I say, in every one of these meetings, it seems like being a good neighbor is a good start.
Yeah.
If someone comes and says, hey, this is going on, and be willing to engage them and try to help,
Yeah.
and not just you, I mean, everyone in there, it would be nice if everyone would afford everyone that effort. I know that some
Yeah,
don't.
I am 100% trying to fix the road back.
But that's my only concern.
All right, well,
but,
thank you.
I don't mean to deter it all the way. All neighbors are welcome.
Well, thank you. Was there anyone else for or against? Okay. All right, well, let's deal with the petition first. Entertain a motion, and then we can either approve, deny, or table.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by
A
Beth
second.
Wood,
A second.
seconded by Robin Cooper. Everyone in favor of approval? Aye.
Aye.
5-0. Congratulations, Rich. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Adopting the findings of fact on the petition.
Yes, I will, I'll type something up. You have it on minutes?
Right, but you just have to
You have to
approve
read the findings.
Oh, I'm sorry.
that first part, you just have
Yes,
to
okay.
accept his, if,
All right, so the approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, moral, or general welfare of the community. I think we've established that. Anything that would fall into that category sounds like it was done long ago. It's not the property, the current property that's under petition. The use of the land and value of the areas adjacent to property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. His square footage is comparable to the other properties in the development. Then the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in a practical difficulties in the use of the property. With him having an existing septic, and we all know how expensive those are to replace, that would be a practical hardship for him to build the house further back. So with those three things being met, I think we're in good standing to approve this with our vote. Okay?
Congratulations, Rick.
Thank you, Richard.
I was curious, do you have my plans? My set of plans?
you did not, I don't think you did
The house.
Before we go on to subject B, here's what I will do, and I don't have, this is an appointed board, I have no official capacity other than sitting on this board. But I will contact our commissioner,
Yeah, remember I made.
or your commissioner for that district. You're not in my district. I will contact your commissioner, and see if we can get the ball rolling on some effort to help you guys out. I don't know what will come of it, I will try.
Does the school bus go back in there?
No, they pick up on 46.
That was my first question, because I was like, if the school bus is running back in there, you got a little bit of a leeway, but.
It doesn't sound like it's wide enough for a school bus. And you're not the only one, trust me, in the county, but that doesn't make it okay, so I'll contact your commissioner. I think I have your contact information, I'll let you know what I find out, or I'll have him contact you one of those. Suzanne, I'll work with you on getting,
Okay.
I think it's Dell, right? Dell or Bob?
Yeah, I think it's Dave.
I don't, is
I'll
it Dale?
have-
I mean, there's that.
I'll have to look at the township, you know what
It's right
township you guys
there.
are in? So it's Bob.
Bob.
It's Bob, yeah.
All right, so I'll get a hold of Bob and then I'll let you know what I find out, okay? And he would be the guy to talk to probably, but I'll make the first connection and then we'll see what we can do. I don't know that we can do anything and I'm not gonna promise, but I will at least make the contact for you guys, okay? All right. B, under 5, design variance and setbacks for Luella Scamahorn. Is Ms. Scamahorn here? Come forward, please. Just state your name and then, let us know what you're planning here.
Right. I'm Luella Scalahorn, and I own the property across the river, corner there, and I'd like to build a house.
Okay.
And I need to, I brought the plans, I brought my survey, and I brought pictures of, I'm gonna hope, and Ralph's here to help explain what we need to do.
Okay.
I'm Ralph Schwartz. And to build her house of these set of prints here, if we could set back 60 feet from the center line of the road, here's some pictures of the existing neighborhoods and things here. You look at where the trailers are actually only about 20 feet from the edge of the roadway. She's gonna be 60 feet from the center of the road.
In looking at this, Ralph, there's already a septic field already.
Yes, there is, and it's already been approved by John Reeves. He's been out there.
So we don't have a problem with the amount of bathrooms,
Nope.
bedrooms, I mean,
Nope, not at all.
okay.
And the systems out there have never failed. It's right there by the river, good river,
course, yeah.
sand and gravel and
Right.
all that stuff.
And this is gonna be a frame stick-built house?
Stick-built house.
Okay.
You wanna see the print?
Just tell me how many square feet.
Well, I don't know. There's a picture of the house.
Okay.
So,
You know the dimensions roughly, Ralph?
The one that's here says 88 by 30.
8 by 30?
Yeah, it says 88 by 30.
That'd be
2,400?
2,700, a little less than 2,700.
Okay.
you got all the elevations on this, design, how it's gonna be built.
So we're 60 feet off the center line. How far are we off of each side?
She owns the whole thing.
Oh, she owns all.
She owns the whole thing all the way down the road there.
So are the single wides coming out?
No, not at this time. There's some handicapped people living in the first one by
Okay,
Freeman Road.
all right.
And then her son is gonna live in the next vacant one over, which
Okay.
is the gray one with the picture in there.
Uh-huh.
And while he's building the house, and then that will probably be gone.
Okay.
But the handicapped people need to stay there. They're the people who drive the golf cart. I
I
can't
was
think of
just asking for clarification because I didn't know if it were staying or going. Okay, well, do you have anything else?
it. Well, Duke Energy's already approved the electrical or RMC, the one, is it RMC or Duke? Duke. Okay, they've already approved the electrical system.
Water company,
Water company's got no problems. We got water already there. Water, septic,
and is it a septic or is it hooked onto the?
It's a septic
It's
system.
septic, okay. Yeah, you said that already.
and John Reeves have already approved it.
Okay. Okay, well. You guys got anything else? Board, do you have any other questions? No? Okay. Now we'll go to public. Is there any public to speak for or against this petition? Don't see anyone, but I have to ask. Okay, I do have to read through this again for this petition and then we will proceed. Yes, you can have a seat. Thank you. All right. Once again, under Indiana Code 36-7-4-918.5, only upon a determination in writing that the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, moral, or general welfare of the community. The use and the value of the area is adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. And the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. And then let me go into the hearing procedures. The public notice in accordance with Indiana Code 5-3-1-2 and 5-3-1-4, due notice was to all interested parties was given at least 10 days before this hearing.
Yes.
Yes. At least 10 days prior to the hearing, the planning director posted a sign and maintained on the property?
Yeah.
Okay. And no person communicated with any of the board members before the hearing to influence the members' actions on the meeting pending board approval, or the board meeting. Okay. And adjacent property owners were notified,
Yes,
and did we hear from anyone?
heard from one and they didn't seem to have any issue with it.
Okay, what was their response?
Basically, they just wanted to know what she was doing.
What was going
That was
on?
it. Yeah, it was a neighbor to the south of, across the road.
Okay, so hearing those three criteria that we have to meet, I would entertain a motion to either approve, deny, or table.
I'd make a motion to approve as observed in the minutes there.
Okay. And we got, motion by Corbin April, seconded by Robin Cooper. All right, all in favor? All right, 5-0 on acceptance of the variance.
Normally the factual basis just for the three.
Yes, so I'll go through it now. So approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, moral, or general welfare of the community. I think that we have established that by the fact that it's going to be a nice house and it's not going to affect the property values or anything in an adverse manner. Use and value of the areas adjacent to the property included in the variance will not affect it in a substantially adverse manner. I just answered that one. And the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. There again, their septic is set. We don't want them to have to redo one if they don't have to. So with that all being said, the variance on the 60-foot setback should be fine. Is that sufficient, Jim? Okay. All right.
Oh, Ralph's got a
She
question.
just asked me a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can she put a porch on the front of that, or is that?
I would like the 60 to be the front of the porch if you're putting a porch on it. Can you do that?
It'd be awful close.
How big of a porch are you talking, Lou? Like, what would be the width and depth?
It says a covered porch would be 16 foot wide by maybe 8 foot out.
It's 8 foot.
I can show you the print.
That's okay. So an 8-foot deep porch. Okay, so would you accept a friendly amendment to make the setback 52 feet?
I would accept that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys can meet 52 feet, then we got no problem. Jim, do I need to read through that again to
Well,
make?
you need to vote.
Okay.
So then, yes, if they would
All right, but I don't need to read the findings again, okay. All right. So the friendly amendment is we will allow them, since they're putting a porch on, to have a setback of 52 feet from the center of the county road there. That's the only change to the motion that we had before, so can I have that in a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Beth Wood made a friendly amendment motion, and the second, Ron Cooper. All in favor of the motion as amended, show of hands, 5-0. I'm glad you guys mentioned that, because you'd had to come back otherwise.
Yeah.
I didn't even think, I didn't even see the porch.
That's, hey, we can all work together, we can make this work. That's, okay. All righty, moving on with the agenda. Number 8, public comments. Anyone like to make a public comment? Come on, this is why you have something, right? Nothing? All right, hearing none. BZA comments, anyone? No. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
So moved, we are adjourned. Thank you both for coming.
Corbin, I had to give you a hard time, sorry.
You're good.
I told him, I said,
I'm lucky I was here 4
Hey,
minutes
George.
late, I figured it was late.